Paul, age 37, 18th season. He'll be guarded by Jaylen Brown to start the game. And on the cut, it's Bridges driving. It's slamming over Griffin. In Boston, the leading three-point shooting team in the NBA. 0 for 3, though, to start this game. Grant Williams, and finally, Boston on the board, 1 minute and 40 seconds in. Shot clock inside at 10. Tatum on the drive. Good D by Ayton, batted around, and Paul's got it. Fakes the pass once, now hits Craig and stride. Layup is good with the left hand.
Torrey Craig, instead of running to the corner for a transition three, running for the best shot in basketball, the uncontested layup.
Chris Paul forced the turnover, and now Craig soars to the rim and lays it in.
3 layups.
Tatum inside the arc, pulls the trigger, and swishes it home for the long 2.
But they do lose something offensively with their ability to stretch the defense.
But they do get the lob threat as Ayton gets an easy roll.
They play New Orleans Friday and Sunday on the road. And depending on what happens tonight, if the Suns lose, the Pelicans could be in first place in the West as Chris Paul connects.
You only have 4?
4.
Would you mind sharing with the world?
Well, these 2, Milwaukee and New Orleans, as Griffin hits the 3.
Please don't put me in the category with this guy. I didn't say anybody. He went down the list of his names.
Of course, because he doesn't have the conviction of his thoughts to actually state.
All of the Suns' points have come in the lane. They're 0 for 6 from deep. Boston is 2 for 8. Here's Brown, gets rid of Craig, and knocks down the jump.
Responded and led this team to the best team in basketball early on in this season.
Yeah, what I think is he's got tremendous poise. Allowed him to more easily find his voice as a head coach. And I think he has...
What a move by Tatum.
Yeah.
And he prepared him, knowingly or unknowingly, for this opportunity. Think about you, the experience that you had as a young assistant, working for the great coaches that you had.
There's no question.
Booker defended by Derek White, spinning, gets into the lane, goes to the left and puts it in with a second to go. Joe Mazzulla went to the Final Four as a player just 12 years ago as Tatum drills a 3. His first three-pointer and his 83rd on the season.
That could take your energy. That was a good defensive trip for the Phoenix Suns. Got into him, but great players have a way of scoring the rock. Embraces his role because he's a starting point guard, an accomplished guy in this league.
And a lot of it is that's been health-related.
Rebound Derek White. Kane coming off the bench after being a starter with Chris Paul on his Tatum. Is starting to take over here. He's got 12 now.
Since I don't ever get any, I'm transitioning to give what I get.
Ayton with the elbow
jumper. What's wrong with you, man?
I'm just saying.
Here's Devin Booker, just 2 baskets. Had only 11 points the other night. A turnover. Brown in transition. Hangs. And the follow jam by Derek White. Another forced turnover by the Celtics defense. Now they leave Grant Williams wide open in the corner. And he drills the 3. The lead is 19 in the first half. And a 19-point deficit. Boston has scored the last 7 points. Very balanced scoring. 3 players in double figures. Derek White drills a 3.
Smart snapped it across court off a flare screen.
Phoenix turns it over again. Another uncontested jumper that goes down from Jaylen Brown.
Energy, effort, plays, getting back into the picture. This is stellar defense. Even when the Suns score, it's a struggle.
And Jaylen Brown counted. They're going to call a foul on Booker.
Jay Crowder now, sort of away from the team as Brown takes it and finishes it. I don't think they have enough offense.
A limited Chris Paul this late in his career. Who else can be a playmaker for them?
Booker in the paint gets it to go. Celtic ball. Griffin on the cut. Missed the layup. Again battling, this time on the offensive glass. He kept it alive for Jaylen Brown, who scores. Closing in on a minute to go here in the first half. Pull-up jumper. Contact, that's 4 on Booker. Count the basket and 1. Celtics are going to hold for the final shot. Phoenix 1 for 15 from 3 in the first half. Brogdon gets by his man and the cup for the lay-in.
First thing out of his mouth was physicality. We have to be more physical with them, he said. We're letting them get to the basket too easily. And on the offensive end, he said they got to trust each other more. They've missed a couple of bunnies, perhaps.
You're seeing great skill as Tatum off the dribble. Like
Boston, the best record in the NBA at 20-5. Phoenix, the best record for now in the West at 16-8. Here's Booker, hands that one. 9th in the league in scoring. He had that great week last week. He had 3 straight games where he had 44, 51, and 41. The last 2 games, though, he struggled with his shot, and again tonight. Here's Jaylen Brown, catch and shoot 3. Jaylen Brown with 20. Third on Griffin, now a steal by Tatum. He gives it right back, though, and Booker underneath for the easy dunk. Mark, you were harassing Jeff for only picking 4 NBA championship contenders in the first half. One of his 4 was the Suns. He's sticking with that as Griffin hits a 3, and the lead is 37.
Listen, I think the Celtics are a much more physically talented team than Phoenix. I think Phoenix plays normally excellent basketball, as you have to have elite talent and a number of different ways to score.
Here's Tatum falling away. It's good. Well, this Boston group is very experienced. Obviously, they led them to the NBA Finals last year for the first time since 2010. Tatum's 3 is there. Jayson Tatum with 22. Timeout.
Going to Colorado, I was shocked that they weren't excited for his new opportunity.
Especially because it's not an elite job as Marcus Smart scores and it's a 42-point. Mikal Bridges isn't playing well. 2 for 12, 0 for 5 from 3. Ayton just 4 of 7, 8 points. They've got nothing from their bench. Here's Jaylen Brown on the money with another 3.
Monty Williams, he's going to...
Midway through the third quarter, think about that for a second.
Well, they would have to go on a 45-0 run.
So if it was a 5-point game or a 50-point game, you were grinding the tape afterwards no matter what, weren't you?
Well, you know how they say sometimes you got to bury the tape if you lose. You know, you can subconsciously, like, feel too good about yourself, too, as Brogdon just walks his way into another layup. A younger head coach, I know I had that benefit when, as a beautiful pass from White to Cornette, I had that benefit with the Knicks, with Ewing and Oakley, and don't have that level of talent.
But I will say this, that's not just young coaches' testimony, that's older coaches also. You benefit from the talent that covers up, mistakes that you made or decisions you made.
So Kogi
in that game, Paul Westphal, because the rules were different as Tatum with a strong take, he called a timeout that they didn't have to get that famous Gar-Hurd shot. And you talking about Al McCoy. So many great voices here in Phoenix. Tom Dillon, Greg Schulte. He was talking in general in all sports. But I think when you look back, I never could understand why people would say that Tatum and Brown couldn't play together.
Sam Hauser's been really good off the bench for Boston. Celtics have 14 made threes. Now 15 is Peyton Pritchard. Gets in.
Like shooting, just from the roster that he's put together.
Count the basket for Cam Payne and 1, so a 3-point chance for Payne.
And Coach touched on it. You can't say enough about the job that Brad Stevens has done in the seat running this organization.
Well, and that brings them not one step closer to beating the Astros.
You know you guys lost a key part.
That is a huge loss. You're absolutely right. Cy Young winner.
Is there anything you don't know? I mean, you just cover all the bases, no pun intended.
I know Hauser can shoot.
The Boston Celtics were really good tonight. They're up by as many as 45. They scored 125, could have been a lot worse.